What's up, people? It's your boy. So Bailey just completed day 2 of her going to work. She's in the back laying down. She's a little worn out, but yeah, we're headed home. Gonna have the weekend off. Got some Christmas plans this weekend. See what happens. So guess I'll holler back at you here in a minute. Okay, so I'm just gonna start off and say I am not a police officer. I don't want to be a police officer. I respect what they do. I just, honestly, working in private security, I make really good money, right? But I'm back on here because people legitimately, some people, let me rephrase that, some people legitimately just make me sick. So I stop at the little drugstore, the CVS, to make one of my vehicle payments, right? No big deal. I do it once a month. Never have an issue. Well, as I'm walking in, there's 2 older ladies and a gentleman who works at the CVS standing at the front door. And I can hear them talking. I wasn't really paying attention. They weren't talking to me, and I'm not one to eavesdrop. Well, next thing I know, I'm standing in line waiting, minding my own business. The guy that works there walks up to me and I see his name tag. It says store manager, obviously had his name on it. His name's not important. I'm not going to say his name. But he proceeds to ask me for help because somebody just hit a couple of parked cars in the parking lot and proceeded to drive away. Now, I myself have had this happen. I myself have had people purposely run into my vehicle and drive off trying to get away from me. It's irritating. It's sickening that you don't... What kind of person are you that you don't have the respect for somebody else's property that you're going to hit not 1, but 2 cars and damage them and then just drive away like nothing happened? So I explained to the manager that, unfortunately, sir, I can't help you. I'm a security officer. I work out of Dallas. What would need to happen is if you know who the owner of the vehicles that were damaged are, you need to call and contact 911 and request an officer and for a police report, and they will send a local officer out and take the information down, get the complainant's information, the victim's information, and they'll issue a report number, and then the people who had their car damaged would need to take that incident number and give it to their insurance company. And 9 chances out of 10, because as is what has happened to me several times, you file the insurance claim and it goes on your uninsured underinsured. And for those of you who don't know what that is when you have full coverage, you can get additional coverage that is called uninsured underinsured. And that is in the likelihood of just that. Somebody hits your car, doesn't have insurance, or they only have liability. Your insurance ends up footing the bill. Pretty much, knock on glass, every accident that I have had, with the exception of 2, I have had to file on my insurance on the uninsured underinsured, because the other people either don't have insurance, or the greatest one, the one that happened here recently, lady ran a stop sign, hit the front of my truck that I had bought for work, and totaled it. She gave me an insurance card. I took a picture of it, got the information. The insurance card she gave and that she provided was fraudulent. It was fake. She had changed the dates on it. And people are just, if you're going to drive a car, if you're going to own a car, you should be able to afford insurance. That's all there is to it. If you're going to drive it, you damn sure better have insurance. So I'm standing in line and I explain all this to the manager that, you need to contact your local agency, whatever. And if I'm rambling, I'm sorry. It's really irritating. And it's been a really long day. I'm tired. I'm headed home to enjoy my weekend off. I continue to stand in line and, I'm waiting to make my vehicle payment. This little old lady, y'all, that reminds me of my grandmother who has passed, walks up to me and just with a look of despair in her eyes, like she has no idea what to do, and asks, "Officer, can you help me?" And then I had to go through the whole thing again. "Unfortunately, ma'am, I can't help you. I'm a security officer out of Dallas. Even if I did work up here, there's nothing I can do for you. I'm a security officer. I'm not a police officer." And I explained the process of calling 911 and, you know, telling the 911 operator what happened and requesting an officer out to file a police report. And she was genuinely appreciative, as was the store manager. I'm not getting on here to talk about anything that they said or did. It's just simply the fact that it irritates me that in today's society, people think that it is okay not to take responsibility for their actions. And I am sorry, in my opinion, that is bullcrap. No, if you mess up, you need to take responsibility for your action. I deal with it. Well, I dealt with it almost daily at work. I am lucky enough now. I'm assigned to a private school. I don't really have to deal with a whole lot of that. I sit at the private school, make sure nothing happens. If something happens or if they need something, they call me on the radio. I'm there, Johnny on the spot. I take care of it. But a lot of the people I work with work in apartment complexes, work in rough neighborhoods that a lot of people wouldn't even go into after dark. And even the local police departments, you know, they don't go to these apartments unless there's 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And a lot of the people I work with, they work these properties by themselves, and they deal with this daily. You know, somebody gets caught doing something wrong, and you go to, you know, tell them, "Hey, you can't do that. I have to issue this lease violation. It's a violation of your lease agreement with the apartment complex." And it's, "Well, where were you when this, and this happened?" They always want to put the blame on somebody else. They always want to blame somebody else. Just grow up. I am 35 years old. I'm not a boomer, as people say, or whatever the hell it is. I am 35 years old. I was raised that if you do something or you screw up, you admit you screwed up, you learn from your screw up, and you move on, and you don't do it again. That's all there is to it. But for whatever reason, in today's society, people seem to think that it's okay not to take responsibility for their actions. And I don't know, it's just irritating. But with that being said, I'm going to hop back off of here because I'm driving. And I will probably pick back up when I get home. Going to get the Bailey dog out. She's had a long day. It's her second day on the job. I say second day on the job. It's her second day going to work with me. Trying to get her trained, trying to get her to where she's a good little working doggy. So far, she's doing good. She has a few things that we need to work on, but, you know, she's 6 months old. She's a puppy. Bailey, who y'all will see here shortly, is part English Mastiff and Belgian Malinois. And she can be a tad bit crazy, but she's a good dog. She's a really sweet dog. She's very protective. But yeah, so we'll be back shortly. For me, it'll be a few minutes. For you, it'll be a few seconds. And 1, 2, and we're back. Yep, what happened? What happened? There we are. It's not trucking me. I'm still learning this camera thing. Yep. Now you're looking over there. Ta-da! And now the face track's on. Alright, so we just got home. We're going to get the Bailey Bay out of the truck. So, here we go. Satin. Good girl. Satin. Good girl. And for those of y'all, oh, that was really close. for those of y'all who have not met the Bailey Bay, there's the Bailey. There's the Bailey. So, let's get her untangled from her leash. There we go. All right, let's go. Where'd you go? There she is. What do you see? What do you see? Let's go. So yeah, she's gotta handle her business. I am not over there, camera. I am right here. I think the lighting's screwing with it because it keeps losing me. Whoop. Yeah, it keeps losing me. This may not be the best part of the video. There we go. I don't know why it keeps leading the camera, so to say. There we go. All right. I'm going to flip it around. There's our baby. Bailey. She's a sweet puppy. She's still 6 months old. She is still learning. She's got her basic commands down. Oh, and she's standing on the leash. So yeah, this is my little slice of heaven right here. Nothing too shabby. Give a little pan around. Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. Very humble home. But she's a little distracted, so I'm gonna hop off of here and let her go to the bathroom, and then we'll go inside and get her uniform off. So yeah, we'll be back in a minute. All right, so we're back. Ooh, that's dark. We're back. Fixing to go in the house. I'm gonna flip this around. Let's see if Bailey actually listens for once. Bailey, fuss. Bailey, fuss. Fuss. Bailey, setzen. Bailey, setzen. 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 Bailey. She's a very stubborn doggy. Bailey, fuss. Bailey, fuss. Bailey, setzen. Leave it. Bailey, fuss. Come here. She gets all tangled up in her leash. Okay, let's try this again. Bailey, fuss. Bailey, setzen. Bailey, setzen. Bailey, setzen. Bailey, setzen. Setzen. Bailey. Good girl. That's a good sit. That's a good sit. You ready? You ready? Pocket. Sook. Find it. Sook. Find it. Turn some light on in here. There's the Bailey. Come here. Come here. Let me see if I can get this flipped around. I don't know what y'all are looking at the wall right now. Alright, we're going to do it like this. I don't know how much y'all are going to be able to see. But we're going to take her gear off. Bailey, puss. Bailey, puss. Bailey, puss. Bailey, puss. Come. Bailey, come. Bailey, puss. Bailey, setzen. Bailey, puss. Bailey, setzen. No, Bailey, puss. Bailey, setzen. 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 Good girl. Birdie. Birdie. Oh, you see what's happening now, huh? You see what's happening now, huh? What? And you're out. Oh, shaky, shaky, shaky. And she runs away. So yeah, not real sure what all of that y'all got to see or not. I haven't watched the video obviously at this point, but